In this video, I wanted to do a test of how long it would take me to subtitle this video that is 5 minutes and 33 seconds, and to do it with the method that I believe is the most effective for accuracy and quickness. So I'm going to hit start on a timer on my phone and give this a go. First I go in here and I download the English automatic subtitles, open them in Subtitle Edit, export them as plain text, merge all the lines, close this, open that, copy that, and now I'm going to go back to Subtitles and CC, and we're going to add a new subtitle file. And I have my English text copied, and we're going to do transcribe and auto sync. We're going to paste all this in here and give this a go, correcting it and getting it formatted and ready for the set timings automatic feature.
Now I don't know where I came across.
And I tend to have, sometimes I'll even set my speed up some so I can do this quicker.
Across this, but I believe that this was John Piper that basically pointed out he was taking fasting again, which is a form of self-denial, and he put fasting and young people struggling with pornography into the same little message. And I don't, I made a slight little effort to find it, but I don't know where it's at. But you know what he said? He said, you take young people today, who are so wired to just gratify everything. We get sick, we take the medicine. Get sick, go to the doctor.
I'm not totally sure on the commas, semicolons here.
Soft.
That's not, grammar is not my strength, and punctuation.
We're supposed to get out of bed. You know the scripture says, consider the ant. The ant's often out there. These fire ants around here are often out there. You wonder, oh, how do all those piles get out there? Well, the reality is, they were at work when a lot of us are still in bed. Get out of bed. That's one of the self-denials. Just get out of bed. You don't need to sleep 10 hours a day. Get out of bed. Stop with all the softness. Take up the cross. But Piper said, these young people, instant gratification. Instant. I mean, I think, again, I would read Adoniram Jetson. He oftentimes would board a ship, and because of tides and winds, they would often sit there for 3 days. Instant. I mean, I think, again, I would read Adoniram Jetson. He oftentimes would board a ship, and because of tides and winds, they would often sit there for 3 days. Can you imagine if you got on an airplane and you had to sit on the airplane for 3 days before?
You know, the very day Tim preached this sermon and said this, people were stuck in an airplane at the JFK airport. It was all iced over. That hadn't happened yet when he said this. I find that kind of ironic.
Took off. Again, we'd all be...
They were stuck on the plane. Okay, because the tides went, I'm going to sit there for 3 days. Can you imagine if you got on an airplane?
Screaming like, what's going on? We get off the airplane. We'd find some other way. We don't have patience for that kind of thing. We want our food now. We want it the way it is. Send it back. It's not cooked just like I want it. It's not the right temperature. It's, you know what? When you have young people that are wired back, it's not cooked just like I want it. It's not the right temperature. It's, you know what? When you have young people that are wired that way, you have parents that give them everything. Oh, you want those clothes? Here, have those clothes. Oh, you want to, you want that cell phone? Well, here, have that cell phone.
There's small corrections. Unless you guys have seen something I'm missing, I've not had to correct a lot. YouTube has done an excellent job with their auto-transcribing feature.
And more, you know, you want to have parents that give them everything. Oh, you want those clothes? Here, have those clothes. Oh, you want that cell phone? Well, here, have that cell phone. And more, you know, we get away from agricultural life, and this is one of the struggles I've had in the city. It's like putting the children to work is hard. And so you grow up with this pampered generation that knows very little about hard work, about getting out in rough conditions, and what happens. You've so trained that those young people.
Here I got lost a little bit.
And what happens?
Well, the truth is once it's automatically time-stamped and I go through it again, you're able to do some corrections there.
That knows very little about hard work, about getting out in rough conditions, and what happens? You've so
and what
trained
happens?
that those young people.
And as you can see, I'm taking there's thoughts he starts and doesn't complete, and I just remove those words.
To say yes to their appetites, that when their body says, I want sexual gratification, it's just like, yep. Just right there. Brethren, if I could desire something of this church, that there would be not the kind of self-denial that you want to parade, so that you can tell people, like putting stones in your shoes. But brethren, you don't need the softest towel. You don't need the softest clothes. You don't need the most comfortable shoes. You don't need the most comfortable temperature in your house. You don't always need to eat all the fancy food. You don't need to live in the nicer house or have the more comfortable car. You know, it can almost be like, oh, well, that automobile doesn't have air conditioning. We need to fix it. Well, you know, that isn't necessarily something that needs to be fixed for your automobile to do what automobiles are supposed to do. Look, I'm the first one to like air conditioning. I know the heat down here about kills me, but brethren, we are soft. And the truth is that there's decisions that we can make to keep our body under, like Paul did. Take up your cross daily.
Getting near the end.
A course of habitual self-denial.
So much of this is punctuation.
Basically, what Piper was getting at is this. When young people actually develop the habits of fasting, that kind of self-denial, it makes it a whole lot easier to say no to these bodily appetites when it comes to sexual problems. And I just wondered, hearing that, I wonder if I wonder if a poll could be taken and everybody was totally honest and we knew all the facts. If the young people most likely to fall into some kind of sexual temptation are likewise
a lot of comments here, I guess.
Given to fasting. I wonder if that correlation is real. I suspect there's reality to it.
This excerpt comes from the full sermon, A Threefold Cord. Secret prayer.
I won't even put that on.
Doing good and self-denial.
Maybe I should, but so now I have this completed. We've basically have proofed. I know I'm being timed. We basically have proofed this. So I'm going to hit set timings. So 5-minute clip should take a couple minutes to do. So basically we've taken the automated transcript. We have fixed it the first time through, and we've set the way we want the subtitles to show. And this set timings feature will take those lines and will automatically time code them almost with perfection. Now, if it's too long, if there's too much text, then it'll mess it up and it'll maybe throw one word down, and you'll have like little hanging words here and there that you need to then combine. So we can hit refresh here to see. And while we're waiting on that, in Subtitle Edit, there is an easy way this is the old one, I can shift select. Let's do it here. We take the medicine, get sick, go to the doctor. Well, we need to combine those. We don't want doctor by itself. So we do merge selected lines, Control Shift M. And what that's going to do is take this end timing, which you can see how messed up this is because these two have the same end timings. But the point is it'll go from 56 to 101. So there you go. And then I would unbreak that. But you can see here, it's red now because it's saying there's too much text. And I understand the industry standards as far as not wanting too much text or the length too long, but YouTube automatically breaks when it gets too long, and it will put 2 lines there. So let's go back. So far this has been a 15-minute video. So let's click on this. And what I want to do is right here. We're editing it. Good. So you can see here, it's taken my lines exactly and time coded them, and then it's done it without gaps, because one thing that's important is no gaps. So I'm going to put my speed up to 1.5. Allows me to do this quicker. So I'm looking right now, I'm looking at anything that changed in the transcript that's wrong as far as the words, the spelling, punctuation, or something I missed. And then I'm going to probably have to change some of where these time codes start being displayed at.
Now, I don't know where I came across this, but I believe that this was John Piper that basically pointed out he was taking...
You see there, see that? It said he, and then it starts it on the second one. To me, that's not a big deal. I'm not going to... I could take that and move that, but let's give them more time to read this line.
Fasting, again, which is a form of self...
You know, here it wasn't perfect, but if it shows very shortly after the line pops up, to me that's not a big problem. As far as the viewer, I mean, we're creating this for those who are deaf, but also the main reason is for it being translated into other languages.
Denial. And he put fasting and young people struggling with pornography into the same little message. And I don't...
We'll move this over there.
I made a slight little effort to find it, but I don't know where it's at. But you know what he said?
So there it missed that. And you can see we're easily able to just change these without having to actually manually change the time codes where we'll drag it.
He said, you take young people today.
Let's up the speed to 2.
Who are so wired to just gratify everything. We get sick, we take the medicine. Get sick, go to the doctor. Soft. We're supposed to get out of bed. You know the scripture says consider the ant?
To make sure they have enough time to read that, we will let that show a little early.
The ants often out there, these fire ants around here are often out there. You wonder, how do all those piles get out there? Well, the reality is, they were at work when a lot of us are still in.
He said, well, the reality is, okay.
Bed. Get out of bed. That's one of the self-denials. Just get out of bed. You don't need to sleep 10 hours a day. Get out of bed. Stop with all the softness. Take up the cross. But Piper said, these young people, instant gratification. Instant.
So see, there's a couple spots here it misses it. Other than that, it does very good job, and this can save a lot of time.
And I think... I've been reading Adam Jetson. He oftentimes would board a ship, and because of tides and winds, they would often sit there for 3 days. Can you imagine if you got on an airplane and you had to sit on the airplane for 3 days before it took off? Again, we'd all be screaming like, what's going on? We'd get off the airplane. We'd find some other way. We don't have patience for that kind of thing. We want our food now. We want it the way it is. Send it back. It's not cooked just like I want it. It's not the right temperature.
And I'm just staring right at the text.
It's, you know what? When you have young people that are wired that way, you have parents that give them everything. Oh, you want those clothes? Here, have those clothes. Oh, you want that cell phone? Well, here, have that cell phone. And more, we get away from agricultural life, and this is one of the struggles I've had in the city. It's like putting the children to work is hard. And so you grow up with this pampered generation that knows very little about hard work, about getting out in rough conditions, and what happens? You've so trained those young people to say yes to their appetites that when their body says, I want sexual gratification, it's just like, yep, just right there. Brethren, if I could desire something in this church, that there would be not the kind of self-denial that you want to parade so that you can tell people, I put stones in your shoes. But brethren, you don't need the softest towel. You don't need the softest clothes. You don't need the most comfortable shoes. You don't need the most comfortable temperature in your house. You don't always need to eat all the fancy food. You don't need to live in the nicer house or have the more comfortable car. You know, it can almost be like, oh.
Okay.
Well, that automobile doesn't have air conditioning.
Oh, what happened here? All right.
You know, it can almost be like, oh, well, that automobile doesn't.
You know, okay, I see. We'll delete this one. It basically separated that. But we want that together. That'd be a problem for the translator, because how are they going to translate that? They might not even, I don't know, they'll probably have some type of shock, you know, some shock there.
You know, it can almost be like, oh, well, that.
Meaning they will carry that over into the translation, the idea.
Oh, well, that automobile doesn't have air conditioning.
Oops.
Be like, oh, well, that.
Okay.
Automobile doesn't have air conditioning. We need to fix it. Well, you know, that isn't necessarily something that needs to be fixed for your automobile to do what automobiles are supposed to do. Look, I'm the first one to like air conditioning. I know the heat down here about kills me. But, brethren, we are soft. And the truth is that there's decisions that we can make to keep our body under, like Paul did. Take up your cross daily. Adopt a course of habitual self-denial. And basically, what Piper was getting at is this. When young people actually develop the habits of fasting, that kind of stuff.
The habits of fasting, not the
habits of fasting, that kind of self-denial.
And when you change it, it automatically starts back at that subtitle. That's kind of nice, so you can actually see it again to make sure you got it right.
The habits of fasting, that kind of self-denial, it makes it a whole lot easier to say no to these bodily appetites when it comes to sexual problems. And I just wonder, hearing that,
I think we'll combine that one.
I just wonder, hearing that. Problems. And I just wonder, hearing that.
Maybe, should put like a
I wonder if a poll could be taken and everybody was totally honest and we knew all the facts. If the young people most likely to fall into some kind of sexual temptation are likewise the ones that are least given to fasting. I wonder if that correlation is real. I suspect there's reality to it.
This excerpt.
And since I should have done this last part, I'll do it now.
This excerpt comes from the full sermon. A threefold cord. Secret prayer, doing good, and self-denial. The full message can be found on I'llBeHonest.com.
Yeah, and I'll leave the last part off, because if it's not translated, it's not like they're necessarily going to go looking for the full message anyways. Okay. Okay, so we can hit save on that. So my timer says 23 minutes. Once I save that, I'm going to unpublish the automated one. Sometimes users see the automated and they don't notice that word automatic, and they think that we've put that out there, and when there's errors in it, they're confused, thinking, why is that there? So we basically unpublished that. There it sits there. So we have the English published now.
But I believe that this was John Piper that basically pointed out.
So in 23 minutes or so, a 5-minute clip, we have transcribed it and time-coded it. And now it is ready for translation or ready for viewing by an English person. So if I was to do other methods, I mean, think if I had to actually type all that out myself, how long would that have taken? I think it took less time to add periods, punctuation, fix a couple words than to type it all out from scratch. I mean, I was able to watch the video at 1.25 speed, so that's a lot better than when I used to transcribe them. I would tend to actually slow it down to 0.75 sometimes because I get lost just on normal speed. And then actually time coding it automatically set the timings for me, and so that's excellent. Now, I guess one more thing. Say, let's download this real quick and load it in Subtitle Edit. And there were a couple places that I maybe didn't move the bar right there, and there was a gap. So I'm going to just bridge gap and durations. Hit OK. So I just fixed those. And then a couple places there's these breaks at that are not good. I'm going to Control A and unbreak all those lines. Again, this is a long line, but it's going to automatically break it, the translated file as well as the others. This one, you know, is kind of long, but it's at the end. I think that's fine. So I'm going to hit save on this. And then we're going to edit it and upload that file. Upload. And there it is. Obviously, I would name those SRT files on my computer if I was going to want to know where they're at in the long term. But it saves time to just keep it what it said. Okay, so there. We've completed that. This is one method to do it. This has been me doing it in real time. I've not paused this video at all. And I hope you even watched this video at 2 times speed to get through it in 12, 13, 14 minutes. Okay, may the Lord help us to keep pressing on and honor Him.